I see now why he made me buy this toolbox, because he wants to use it, and it's lighter than his toolbox.
Good morning, YouTube. We're working again on the Thunderbird today. We've been driving it around town for the last couple weeks and have noticed a few little bugs that happen when you get a car back on the road. One of our major ones, one of the most annoying ones to me, is the rear diff leaks and it's whining a little bit, so I'm wondering if it's running out of fluid. But the stink of gear oil is just so annoying to me. It gives me headaches, so I'm going to try to solve our rear diff issue and be able to clean up this mess off the floor. So that's what we're doing today. To start with, we've already got the car jacked up, and we will start pulling apart the fluids and rear diff and see what's actually going on in there, because I bought this axle really cheap, so I didn't care what it had in it. I knew it was locked up somehow. I'm not sure if it's welded or if it's got an actual locker in it, but now that it's leaking, I'm going to dig into it and we'll figure out what has actually been done to it. I know it's got 373 gears, but that's about it. So this is going to be a fun experience for all of us. I'm just spinning it for my own benefit right now. That might be a limited slip. I'm not sure.
If both spin, that means it's limited, correct?
So on a limited slip, if you hold your tire and try to hold it still, I would be able to turn my tire.
Oh.
On a full locker, both tires are always going to spin at the same time. But because it's a full locker, it doesn't chirp and try to turn hard around corners.
Ah.
I'm pretty sure that's what that means. Because it's got a little.
It's more safe than
yeah, it's way safer than welding, and they're kind of expensive.
Oh.
Sometimes.
So this is built for drag racing.
Oh yeah, for sure. This axle came out of a guy was building a Fox body drag car, and he found some rot in the frame rail or something, or the subframe, and so he went and bought another car, and the other car that he bought for the shell came with the rear end that was built up more than this one, so he was selling this one just to get it out of his he had a one bay shop.
Ah.
Yeah, so I got it for a really good deal, probably cheaper than the locker alone. So, but yeah, it's good to know that the reason it was leaking is because the gasket in it is just hard and brittle, and
Oh, so there is one.
yeah, there is a gasket, but it's just hard and brittle and not really holding its own anymore. But I've got a fresh brand new one in there that I will be cleaning this up and
RTV?
yeah.
Why'd they leave it?
What?
The RTV.
Leave what? They probably put it there.
Under the gasket?
Yeah, you put a little bit of RTV on both sides of the gasket so the gasket won't leak.
Oh, okay.
This one didn't have that. It just had a little bit on the bottom so it wouldn't leak. But I'm gonna go probably all the way around the edge. I'm gonna have to clean this up a little bit because it's got a little bit of rust where the gasket had just dried out and now it's not exactly even. So I'm gonna go through with maybe some steel wool and clean it up and then wipe it down real good and spray it out with some brake parts cleaner, and then I'll refill it with some fresh gear oil. Look, it's stamped 373 right there.
I can't see that.
See right here, it's stamped 373. The guy said it was a 373 gear when I bought it. I just believed him because of how cheap I was getting an 8.8 for. It does whine a little bit, but that might have been because it was leaked. It had leaked to empty before I started driving it, and I didn't realize that. So I drove it about 10 miles before I added new fluid, just because I wasn't at the house when I drove it the first time. I was driving back to the house. So hopefully if I can get it all cleaned out real good, it might not make that whining noise anymore. But if so, I'll run it till it blows up and I'll rebuild it again. It'll be fine. But so far, looking in there, everything's looking really nice. There's a little bit of slack, but shouldn't have any problems with the power level that I'm at with this rear end.
What do you think it's rated strong enough for?
I don't know. 8.8s are pretty stout. If it's, I probably should be good if I make up to 500 or 600 horsepower. I should probably be, I might even be able to run more than that, but I don't think I'll ever make more than that out of this car, just because of the way I want to build it. So me making the 330 horsepower that I'll be making once I finish doing my engine work, and then if I go back to the turbo coupe motor, I'll probably only be making about 450, 500 ever. So I hope I hope I can make 450 to 500. Probably won't do that, but this car will probably stay around the 400 to 500 range most of the time. If I ever get rich, maybe we'll go for more, but 400 to 500, it should be safe. I'm more worried about the transmission up there. So let's get to cleaning. So we're about to clean our rear diff cover. If you'll notice, this would be the bottom side of it right here, and it is kind of beat up. I don't know what from, but that might be a problem. It's not perfectly flat, so I'll probably, once I get it clean, try to hammer it back perfectly flat, and once I reinstall it, if it is still going to continue to leak, I'll just have to order a new cover. But for now, I'm going to try to use what I have and continue to make progress. Well, got everything together, and I asked him for a 8/8 diff cover gasket, and they gave me the wrong one, and I didn't realize until I got home and pulled it out of the package. So got to go back and replace this and exchange this. Hopefully they're open today. It's Good Friday. They should be open, but there's a quarantine as well, so who knows. Alright, so we were able to make it to the store and change out to our Felpro gasket for the 8/8. They had just given me the wrong one. Part number is RDS 55314. It's the Felpro number. I get mine from O'Reilly's. I'm sure you can get them from all the other local parts joints. So we're going to put a little RTV around here and then slap it under there. So I like to install just a thin layer of RTV on both sides of the gasket so it doesn't leak. Figure it's going to make a mess either way, so you might as well just go ahead and just admit it. So it goes like this. I made sure to go ahead and put a lot of extra RTV down there at the bottom because that's where it was leaking at before, and that's where it's always generally going to leak, from the bottom. I highly doubt it's going to leak up here at the top. Unless
Well, that's how gravity works.
But yeah, gravity can be deceiving sometimes, though.
You a non-believer?
I believe it's there, but sometimes I believe it works better than other times. And then I'm just going to put another layer right on the back side of it. I'm gonna do a quick wipe down right here where it was leaking earlier, just to make sure it's still dry. Put my RTV on both sides. As you can see, I've lowered the rear sway bar a little bit just to be able to get it on there nice and evenly. We got to torque them to 25 foot-pounds. The sequence is kind of weird. It starts with this one up here in the top left, or top right. I can't do math. There. Then it goes to this one here. The bottom, not the bottom left one right here. Then it goes, number 3 is this one. Number 4 is this one. Number 5 is the top left. Number 6 is the bottom right. Number 8, or number 7 is the middle on there. Number 8. And then 9 and 10. That's the sequence of torquing these. I'm going to let it sit for a while and harden up the RTV, and then I'll add 1.8 quarts of fluid to it. Now that it's later in the afternoon, I've given the RTV most of the day to set. I'm going to be adding this Castrol 8090 axle, limited slip axle fluid, just because it was the cheapest at the store, especially since I'm running the locker. I think this might be a better product for it with the limited slip additive. So let's get under there and add it. So to add the oil, there's this drain plug right here. 8/8 rear end takes approximately 1.8 quarts of fluid. So I'll probably just go ahead and get as much of this 2 quarts that I have in there, and it'll probably end up being around 1.8 due to the weird angle of entry. It probably won't get everything out of the jugs. So here we go. Dog.